That's a wrap on the story. Yanyan wishes you all the best. Let's get into the main plot. I'm the CEO of a mid-sized tech company in Haisheng. My wife, Liu Ruyan, is my childhood sweetheart. We've totally vibed with each other since we were kids. We made it official right after our college entrance exams. After that, we rode out all of life's highs and lows together. I wouldn't be where I am today without her having my back. But one day, a bunch of floating comments suddenly popped up in front of me. The comment said the world I live in is actually a novel. I'm the male lead, and my wife is the toxic female villain. Not only is she cheating on me, but she's also gonna take all my money and run, and eventually get me killed. I called BS on them, and they were getting super pressed about it. But shouldn't they be freaked out? That I can literally see their comments. Instead, it feels like they're trying to manipulate me. At 7 p.m. that night, I finally got home after a crazy day at work. My wife, Liu Ruyan, was bustling around in the kitchen, making me my stomach-soothing porridge. I took off my coat, slipped on my slides, and walked into the kitchen. Seeing her cute little figure working so hard, I couldn't help but melt a little. I hugged Liu Ruyan from behind, buried my face in her neck, and peppered her with soft kisses. Liu Ruyan tilted her head back, letting me leave a trail of hickeys, before grabbing my wandering hands. "Hubby," Liu Ruyan's sweet voice rang out. "Stop messing around. I'm making your porridge. Let me finish this first." I hiked her dress up to her waist, lifted one of Liu Ruyan's legs, and muttered, "Looks like that porridge is definitely gonna wait until tomorrow." By the time I carried my soft, squishy wife out of the bathroom, it was already 11 p.m. My blushing girl was lying in my arms, still looking a little dazed. She looked up and demanded another kiss. Looking at my adorable wife, what else could I do? I had to give her what she wanted, obviously. So we ended up making out for another 20 minutes. When we finally pulled apart, a thin silver thread of saliva connected our lips. I kissed the corner of Liu Ruyan's mouth again, wiping it all away. Then I pulled my sweet wife into a tight hug. Her little hand reached up, smoothing out the frown lines on my forehead. "Ji Boda. What happened? Why do you look so down?" Usually, no matter how exhausted or stressed I was, just being next to Liu Ruyan and holding her in my arms was enough to make all the bad vibes disappear. But today, even after being so intimately connected with Liu Ruyan, I still couldn't shake off the bad mood. "Someone's trying to stir up drama between us," I muttered, sounding muffled, as I buried my face in her chest. "So, is my hubby gonna let them get to him?" Liu Ruyan gently stroked my hair, her voice soft and soothing. "Definitely not," I mumbled back, sounding like I was munching on something. Soon enough, the bed started creaking again. At 1 m.m, Liu Ruyan fell fast asleep, using my arm as a pillow. I gently stroked her hair, but my mind was wide awake. Yesterday at noon, I was at a fancy restaurant downtown, hosting a major business partner. After the lunch wrapped up, I walked out into the lobby and literally bumped into my old college classmates, who were having a reunion there. We hadn't seen each other in years, so we had to catch up. I popped into their private room, chatted for a bit, and then took off. After saying my goodbyes, I got in my car and texted Liu Ruyan right as I hit send. All these semi-transparent white text lines, exactly like live stream comments, suddenly popped up, floating and scrolling wildly in thin air. OMG, finally. The male and female leads are reuniting. Our male lead is rich and gorgeous, so handsome and gentle. The female lead was the campus queen back in the day. Young, pretty, and so devoted. They're literally endgame. Too bad it's not the right time yet. We have to wait until the male lead gets cheated on by his toxic childhood sweetheart wife, and his company gets drained until he's ruined. Then the female lead will swoop in to save him. That's when it gets good. Yes, exactly. Broken male, led Jew angel, female lead, dropping from the sky to save him. One. That's peak fiction right there. That toxic villainess is such a fake, milking the whole childhood sweetheart thing to keep the male lead trapped all these years. Poor baby, he's gonna get cheated on. And that toxic beach is gonna steal all his wealth. He almost literally dies. If the female lead didn't show up in time, I can't even imagine. Ugh, female lead, please hurry up and appear. I want to see you comforting our male lead so bad. These words drifted in front of me like literal ghosts. I blinked hard, thinking I was just hallucinating from pulling too many all-nighters. What male lead and female led? What toxic childhood sweetheart wife are they talking about me? But Liu Ruyan, how could she be a toxic villainess? I aggressively rubbed my eyes, and when I opened them, the comments were gone. I laughed at myself. I was probably just super stressed and seeing things. But right before I clocked out for the day, I grabbed my phone to text Liu Ruyan, wanting to ask what she wanted for dinner. And boom, those floating comments popped up again, way thicker than before. And the stuff they were saying was way harsher. The male lead is so down bad for this toxic villainess. It literally hurts my heart to watch. Don't panic, bestie. It won't be long now. The villainess and her affair partner are gonna team up, bankrupt the male lead's company, take all the cash, and ghost. They'll even hire someone to take care of the male lead. I can't even. The male lead is just blind AF. Fooled by that childhood sweetheart filter for years. Our female lead is so much better. She had a secret crush on him back then, but was too scared to say it. Even when she found out he got married, she just silently supported him. And when she knew he was in danger, she risked her life to save him. Now that is true love. The villainess is just playing a role, acting all sweet and wifey on the outside, but totally plotting behind his back. It's honestly disgusting. Male lead, wake up already. Stop letting this toxic snake play you. Your true soulmate is waiting for you. This time, the comments hung around for a solid minute before fading. I sat in my office, my fingertips ice cold. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand, and I literally couldn't breathe. I was finally sure of it. I was the male lead these comments were talking about, and the toxic villainess was the woman I've loved for over a decade. My ride or die wife, Liu Ruyan, cheating on me, plotting for my money, wanting me dead. I almost burst out laughing. If it were any other accusations, I might have doubted things for a second, but those specific claims were a massive joke. Whoever was behind these floating comments clearly didn't do their homework on my past. What kind of person Liu Ruyan is? I know better than anyone on this planet. She was the one who pulled me out of the trenches, from drowning in debt to achieving the success I have now. During my lowest points, she chose to struggle right beside me, without a single complaint. How could she ever do those things to me? If you guys had said literally anything else, you might have actually gotten in my head. But saying Liu Ruyan is after my money, or wants me dead, if I actually believed your baseless, unhinged BS, then I'd truly be blind and stupid. Those comments, what the hell are they really? Is someone trolling me, using some high-tech R trick to make me hallucinate, just to cause drama between me and Liu Ruyan? Or is it actually, like they said, is the world I live in just a fictional novel? I refuse to believe the latter. This world is real. Liu Ruyan's warmth is real. Everything we went through together is real. And my love for her is the realest thing of all. The tone of those comments was just too confident, too desperate, like they were actively trying to brainwash me into believing them. They seemed 100% sure that I'd buy it. 100% sure that Liu Ruyan was going to backstab me. What's even weirder is, they seemed to know I was reading them. But they weren't shocked at all. Instead, they acted like they were just following a script. The breathing of Liu Ruyan in my arms slowly evened out. She was fast asleep. I gently brushed some stray hairs away from her forehead, looking at her peaceful sleeping face. My heart completely melted. I don't care what the deal is with those comments, or who is trying to mess with my head. If you want to cause drama between me and my wife, once I figure out who you are, you're going to pay for it. 2. My connection with Liu Ruyan was basically locked in since we were in diapers. When she was little, she had these chubby pink baby cheeks. Her arms and legs were so squishy, and she'd run around like a wobbly little dumpling. She was so cute you just wanted to pinch her. We were neighbors. Since I can remember, we were glued to each other, climbing trees to find bird nests, catching fish and shrimp in the river. Even when we played house, she'd always pout her little lips and insist on being my wifey. She'd stick wildflowers she picked in my hair, and say, in her tiny baby voice, "Hubby, I'm cooking for you." As we grew older, that puppy love didn't fade over time. Instead, it grew and tangled us together like vines. In high school, Liu Ruyan still had that sweet, innocent vibe. She still had her baby fat, a little bit chubby, and so soft to hold, so warm I never wanted to let her go. Don't ask me how I remember it so well. Back then, the best part of my day was the walk home from school. I'd pull her into an alley, lean down, and capture her soft lips, greedily taking in her sweet scent. Honestly, I was never the perfect gentleman. I've always had a wild side, and I was fiercely protective and possessive of her. Her 18th birthday was right after our college entrance exams. The day after she officially became an adult, I took her to a hotel and booked a room. She was wearing the white dress I bought her. Standing in the doorway, her cheeks were flushed red like a ripe apple, but there wasn't a hint of hesitation in her eyes. Only deep, unconditional love. And honestly, a little bit of indulgence. Even though I was 3 months older, she always treated me like a little kid and let me have my way. No matter what I did, she accepted it with a smile. That day, she was trembling from the pain, tears slipping from the corners of her eyes. But she still struggled to lift her head and kiss me. Her voice was thick with tears but so sure. "Boda, I love you, Xiaoyan. I love you too." Until the very end. I leaned down and captured her lips, softly kissing away her tears. I nuzzled her soft, chubby cheeks, and held her so tight, like I wanted to merge her into my very soul. In that moment, I swore to myself I would treat her like a queen for the rest of my life. I'd never let her suffer for a single second. When the exam results came out, we both did really well. When filling out our college apps, we silently agreed to stay in Haisheng. I got into Haisheng Jiaotong University. She went to the normal university. The two schools were literally just a street apart, just a quick walk away. While we were waiting for our acceptance letters, I took her on a graduation trip to Yunnan. For over half a month, we basically just vacationed in our hotel room for 14 days. Before we left, her dad grabbed my shoulder, looking super serious, "Xiaoyan has never really traveled far from home. Boda, you have to take good care of her." How did I respond to that again? I forgot. Looking at the sweet, innocent girl I was currently ravaging beneath me. Yeah, I took very good care of Xiaoyan. By the time the trip was over, she was completely mine. When we got back, we showed up in front of our families holding hands. Xiaoyan hid behind me, her head totally down, like a startled little bunny, looking all shy and bashful, like a newlywed wife. Anyone could guess what had happened. Her dad was furious, glaring at me. He grabbed the broom by the door, ready to beat me up, cursing me out, "You little brat. I treated you like a son, and you dare steal my daughter." But right as he charged at me, that petite figure suddenly dashed out from behind me, throwing her arms wide to protect me. Looking up at her dad, she said, "Dad, I wanted this. Don't blame Boda." Her mom also rushed over to hold her dad back, trying to calm him down. The kids are grown now. They have their own minds. Her dad was so heartbroken. His precious daughter was still sweet, but now she was sweet on someone else. My wife isn't even on my side, so I'm the only outsider in this family now. My parents also gave me a stern talking to. If they weren't literally grinning ear to ear, I might have actually believed they were mad. It was great. From then on, I could openly cuddle my Xiaoyan at home. And drag her into my room for kisses. Except, every time I saw her dad, he'd give me this intense, resentful look, like he was silently accusing me of kidnapping his baby girl. I thought those happy days would last forever. But life had other plans. Right before I graduated, my dad made some really aggressive investments and couldn't survive the market crash. Our family company went bankrupt overnight. He refused to give up, always trying to make a comeback, borrowing money left and right. He ended up losing everything and racking up massive debt. The constant stress totally broke him. One day, while driving, he was so out of it, he didn't see the out-of-control truck speeding towards him in the opposite lane. And just like that, my parents were gone forever. In just a few months, I went from a rich kid who had everything to a completely broke guy with nothing. Our house. Everything of value was auctioned off to pay the debts. I didn't even have a place to live. Looking at my exhausted, haggard reflection in the mirror, for the first time, I felt completely hopeless about the future. Xiaoyan was too good for me. She deserved a better life. Not to suffer alongside a guy drowning in debt, struggling to survive. I went to her, eyes red, and asked for a breakup. But the second she heard that, she burst into tears. She hugged me tight, sobbing, Boda, I don't want to break up. If you dare abandon me, I'll literally die. She was crying so hard, her shoulders shaking. I could feel how terrified and helpless she felt. That silly girl. During that time, she was so afraid I'd do something stupid. She barely left my side. When I hid in my rented room, drinking heavily, she'd just sit quietly next to me. And when I got drunk, she'd struggle to help me into bed. She'd wipe my face and get me water. When I stared blankly into the empty room, she'd hold me and whisper, over and over, Boda, don't be afraid. I'm here. We'll get through this together. Her parents didn't either look down on me just because my family lost everything. Instead, they kept inviting me over for dinner, making all my favorite foods. Her dad would pat my shoulder and say, you're a man. Falling down isn't scary. What matters is getting back up. Money can be earned back. As long as you're still here, that's what counts. To support my startup, he not only lent me all his personal savings, everything he could access, but he also sold the villa they'd lived in for over a decade. They downsized to a regular 3-bedroom apartment and invested all the money from the house into my business. With the support of Xiaoyan and her parents, I finally got my act together. I worked day and night, running around, making business plans, pitching investors. When I was so exhausted I was about to collapse. All I had to do was think of Xiaoyan's gentle smile. Think of her saying, I believe in you. And I found the motivation to keep grinding. Xiaoyan and her parents didn't just support me financially. When the company was just starting out, Xiaoyan stood right there with me, helping me handle the business side. My company finally got on track. From a tiny workshop, it slowly grew into a well-known tech company in Haisheng. I will never forget who reached out to me during my darkest and lowest moments to pull me up, who stayed by my side as I crawled out of the mud. So, right when the company was founded, I didn't even hesitate. I put 75% of the shares under Xiaoyan's name. She refused at first, telling me, this is your hard work, I can't take it. But I was stubborn. Without you, and without your parents' support, this company wouldn't exist. And neither would the man I am today. Everything I have naturally belongs to you too. Not just half, all of it. Eventually, she gave in. She agreed, but asked me to hold the shares in trust for her. She said, I trust you, you handle it. Even later, when the company went through rounds of funding, and the equity was diluted, Xiaoyan still held 45% of the shares, making her the largest shareholder. Basically, all my assets are in her name. And now these comments are telling me that Xiaoyan is only with me to plot for my money. If she really was a gold digger, when my family fell apart and I was totally broke, she could have easily walked away and found someone way better off. But she didn't. She chose to stay by my side and struggle through it with me, even letting her parents sell their house just to support me. And as for the BS about her wanting me dead, that's even more ridiculous. I will never forget that time, when the company was just starting to take off. After a major business dinner, Xiaoyan drove to pick me up. On the way home, a car suddenly lost control and barreled straight toward us. In a split second, I felt her violently yank the steering wheel, turning the driver's side directly into the path of the oncoming car. I walked away from that crash without a scratch, but Xiaoyan was covered in blood, even though they saved her life just in time. She was left with a slight limp in her leg. She could never do intense workouts again. Her abdomen was also severely injured. The girl who was terrified of pain lay in that hospital bed, enduring agony without shedding a single tear. She even softly comforted me. But when the doctor told her she might never be able to get pregnant, she cried in my arms for so long. In that moment, the girl who had always been so lively and bubbly just lost all her color. Lying in that hospital bed, her eyes were completely empty. Having been by her side day and night for over 20 years, how could I not know what she was thinking? I grabbed her hand so tight and choked out, "If you don't want me anymore, I have no reason to keep living. Xiaoyan loves me so much. Could she really bear to watch me suffer? Xiaoyan wouldn't. She'll always love me. She wants me to be happy forever. And Xiaoyan, she's the literal source of my happiness." When faced with danger, subconsciously ignoring her own safety, just to protect me, and you're telling me she wants me dead? If Xiaoyan really wanted my life, she wouldn't even have to try. I'd hand my life over to her myself. After Xiaoyan recovered, we had our wedding, but that car crash really took a toll on her health. She wasn't like before, going to the company all the time to help me run things. Most of the time, she stayed home to rest, gardening, reading books, keeping the house perfectly organized. So every time I came home, I felt so warm and welcome. Did those comments see that we aren't literally attached at the hip anymore, like we used to be, and assume our relationship was on the rocks, and tried to swoop in when we were vulnerable, trying to stir the pot? Absolute delusion. I don't care who you are. Once I track you down, I'm definitely gonna ruin you. The bond between me and Xiaoyan has literally survived life and death. We survived the brutal days when we had nothing. It's been unbreakable for a long time. A few fabricated rumors out of thin air aren't going to shake it that easily. Xiaoyan, still in my arms, seemed to sense the shift in my mood. In her sleep, she unconsciously rubbed her fuzzy head against my chest, like a little kitten seeking comfort. I looked down and kissed the top of her head. My fingertips gently brushed over the scar on her thigh, the mark she got from protecting me. The hostility in my heart slowly faded, replaced by a deep, unwavering warmth and resolve. I don't care where those comments came from. I don't care who's playing games behind the scenes. I won't let them win. I'm going to get to the bottom of this and find out who's pulling the strings. Daring to slander my wife like this, trying to destroy my happiness. They have to pay the price. My grip tightened, holding the person in my arms even closer. The moonlight outside filtered through the gap in the curtains, shining on her peaceful sleeping face. She was so insanely gentle. With her by my side, I wasn't afraid of anything. 3. When morning came, I decided not to tell Xiaoyan about the floating comments. For one, it was just too bizarre. Telling her before I had it all figured out would only make her panic for no reason. Secondly, I had a strong feeling there was a massive conspiracy behind this. Before I catch the mastermind, I need to make sure she's safe first. Before I left, I repeatedly told Xiaoyan to stay home and not go out. I also specifically called her parents, so inviting them over for a few days. With more people around to look after her, I'd have more peace of mind. At the same time, I had a security company rush to upgrade our home security system. We swapped the doors and windows for heavy-duty security ones, and added a 24/7 security guard at the door. I'd rather be overly paranoid with the protection than let Xiaoyan be at any risk whatsoever. Throughout the day, company tasks piled up like a mountain. I was swamped with meetings and pitching projects. In between, I'd shoot Xiaoyan a few texts, asking if she'd eaten, or what she was doing. And it was exactly through this constant texting that I finally figured out the pattern of those comments. Whenever I used my phone to text Xiaoyan, those semi-transparent words would pop up right on cue, scrolling aggressively for about 10 minutes before fading away. Looks like the problem is highly likely with my phone. I carefully replayed my schedule from yesterday, lunch meeting with a partner at the restaurant, ran into college classmates afterward, chatted for about 20 minutes. The business partner was a legit power couple. Even though it was a business marriage, they were super affectionate and solid. In their eyes, my company is just small potatoes. They had zero reason to waste energy pulling petty stunts like this. Ruling out the business partner? The suspicion naturally falls on those classmates, following the logic of who benefits the most and who has the strongest motive. The female lead, constantly mentioned in the comments, is probably the mastermind behind all this. But who exactly is this female lead? Among my old college classmates, who had a special interest in me, and who had the resources to pull off some high-tech comment stunt like this, I'm not in a rush. Since they dared to make a move, they'll slip up and expose themselves eventually. Suspecting my phone was compromised, I immediately had my assistant grab me a brand new phone. I registered a new number, specifically just to contact Xiaoyan. Surprisingly, my girl Xiaoyan had her guard way up. When I tried adding her WeChat with the new number, she straight up rejected it. It wasn't until I called her with the new number and proved it was me that she half suspiciously accepted the request, using the new phone to text Xiaoyan. Sure enough, those annoying comments never showed up again. Then I used my old phone to send her some random, pointless message, and the comments instantly flooded my vision. A dense swarm of text, buzzing in front of my eyes like flies. This high-tech trick doesn't seem very smart after all. Even though the comments didn't seem that advanced, I couldn't just brush them off. I threw a ton of money into setting up a lab, specifically to detect energy fluctuations. I need to see exactly what the hell these comments actually are. For the next month or so, the mastermind seemed to be playing it cool, just letting the comments roll day after day, spitting the same BS slander against Xiaoyan. No other moves. Until one weekend, things finally took a turn. That day, a sudden emergency popped up at the company, so I had to rush back to the office to handle it. Xiaoyan had been stuck at home for days and was bored out of her mind. So, she hit up her bestie, Qiangwei, to go to the mall for some shopping. Before that, I had already told Xiaoyan the whole story about the floating comments. If it were anyone else, they'd probably think I was just losing it from stress and having hallucinations. But not Xiaoyan. She just hugged me tight, looked me in the eye, and firmly said, "Boda, I believe you. Whoever is messing with us, we'll face it together." So, before heading out this time, Xiaoyan thoughtfully updated me on both of my phone numbers. First, she texted my new number with the exact mall they were hitting, the time they were meeting, and even sent screenshots of her chat history with Kwang. Only after she got to the mall did she text my old number to check in. And, just as expected, the second my old phone got the text from Xiaoyan saying, "Out shopping with Wi-Fi," the comments blew up again. The toxic villainess finally couldn't hold back from seeing her side piece. She's finally showing her true colors. Ugh, our poor male lead is stuck at the office, working his ass off to support them. And this bitch is out here cheating on him. So gross. I seriously don't know what her problem is. The male lead treats her so well, and she still betrays him. Just classic toxic villainous behavior. Our female lead is a million times better. She only has eyes for the male lead. She actually cares if he's exhausted or struggling. When are the male and female leads finally gonna meet properly? Such a gorgeous couple. I'm already anticipating their iconic spicy scenes. Spicy scenes? Equer? Now this is the adult romance we want to see. The last few comments were completely unhinged. But right now, I didn't care about the side piece. I was more interested in seeing who exactly this affair partner the comments were so hyped about was. Are they the mastermind hiding in the shadows? Or just another pawn being used? The mall address spammed in the comments was the exact same one Xiaoyan sent to my new number. Right then, Xiaoyan texted my new number again. Ran into a guy from college. He's aggressively insisting on buying me and Qiangwei coffee. A guy from college? That's probably the side piece from the comments. I immediately dumped all the company work onto my assistant who was rushing to cover for me. Dropping a quick emergency, "I'll be back when it's handled," grabbed my car keys and bolted for the underground garage. I sped over to the mall and headed straight for the Starbucks the comments mentioned. Through the glass wall, I instantly spotted Xiaoyan sitting by the window. A guy was sitting across from her. They both had a coffee in front of them, and they were looking down, talking about something. I took a deep breath, instantly switching into Oscar-worthy acting mode. My eyes got a little red, my fingers trembling uncontrollably. I pulled out my old phone and texted Xiaoyan, "What are you up to?" When Xiaoyan saw a text from my old number, she immediately knew I was baiting the trap. She looked up, pretending to casually glance toward the cafe entrance, and quickly spotted me standing in the shadows. A flash of amusement crossed her eyes as she looked down and replied, "Just shopping with Wi-Fi." Almost the exact second the message went through, the comments started spamming like crazy again. Lol, the toxic villainess is still acting. She hasn't even realized she's exposed yet. literally sitting right there having coffee with her side piece, and still lying to the male lead that she's shopping with her bestie. Honestly, it's a shame she's not an actress with those skills. Male lead, wake up. Stop falling for this woman's sweet talk. She doesn't deserve your love at all. Only our precious female lead actually genuinely cares about him. Hurry up and appear, female lead. I feel so bad for the male lead. The female lead should be nearby, right? According to the plot, this is the perfect time for the hero to save the beauty. Oh, wait. I mean the perfect time for her to gently comfort the male lead. I glanced at the comments. A cold smirk tugging at my lips. The female lead is nearby? Fine. Then I'll play along and put on a show for you. I put my phone away and purposely acted totally crushed. I turned around and walked slowly, my steps heavy, like all the energy had been drained out of me. Even when people accidentally bumped into me, I just numbly waved it off. My face screamed heartbreak and despair. That broken vibe would probably make anyone feel bad for me, and the comments immediately got even more hype. Nhi, the male lead, is so pitiful. He definitely figured out the truth. Why else would he look so devastated? My heart is literally breaking. Female lead, get out there and hug him. Hug. Almost there, almost there. Our female lead is right nearby. She'll show up in front of him any second now. To comfort him, the so-called female lead is nearby. Great. I'll just keep the act going. I kept wandering around outside the mall like a lost soul. Aimless. Not even reacting when people shoved past me. Where's this female lead the comments are hyping up? Why isn't she here yet? I'm literally dying of anticipation. If you don't hurry up, I'm gonna end up back in the parking garage. But the female lead didn't make me wait too long. As soon as I turned the corner, I purposely stumbled into the elevator lobby, acting completely out of it. Barely 2 steps in, and I bumped right into a fresh, pretty girl. A faint scent of gardenia hit my nose. That face looked familiar. Delicate features, bright eyes, wearing a simple white sundress. Her long hair loosely draped over her shoulders. She gave off this gentle but lively vibe. Boda? The girl reacted first, looking perfectly surprised. Is it really you? Huh? The mastermind. I finally caught you. I instantly dialed my acting up to 11. First, I kept my eyes blank and unfocused. After she called my name, I slowly turned around, like I was just snapping out of a daze. My eyes were still red from when I purposely rubbed them earlier, and my gaze was full of confusion and heartbreak as I stared straight at the woman in front of me. It was Ziyu, the campus queen from our college days. She was at that class reunion too. But back then, I was busy catching up with a few close friends and didn't really talk to her. So, she was the female lead the comments kept obsessing over. When Ziyu saw how wrecked I looked, a look of deep concern instantly filled her eyes. She took 2 steps closer. Her voice, soft and gentle. She asked carefully, "What's wrong? You look awful. Did something happen?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I intentionally looked down at my own shoes. My shoulders slightly slumped, pretending I didn't want anyone to see me vulnerable. With a barely noticeable choke in my voice, I said, "It's nothing. How can it be nothing?" Ziyu moved even closer, basically standing right in front of me. Her tone got even softer, like she was trying to soothe a wounded animal. "That was you at the cafe entrance earlier, wasn't it? You stood there for so long, and then just spaced out on your own, looking totally lost. Something definitely happened, didn't it?" The weird thing was, even though I hadn't taken my phone out this time, those damn comments still popped up right on schedule. The thick wall of text floating in midair. Wow. The female lead and male lead are finally talking properly. I've been waiting for this scene forever. The female lead is so gentle. Seeing her care about the male lead like that just hits different. Male lead, just vent all your feelings to her. She'll comfort you. As for your toxic, villainous wife, she doesn't deserve your real feelings. Only our female lead is the right match for him. Lock these two in. Female lead, hurry up and hug him. Seeing him this sad, my heart is literally breaking. I looked up at Ziyu's face, which was painted with fake concern, sneering internally, testing the waters, setting the stage. Back in college, Ziyu had actually hit on me multiple times. I remember once, she used some club activity as an excuse to ask me out alone to a boba shop off campus. She subtly hinted that she liked me, but I shut her down completely. I already have someone I like. After that, she never initiated contact again, just gathered dust on my friends list. And now, she suddenly pops up, perfectly timed for this exact moment. Combined with what the comments were saying, the answer was super obvious. She was the one hiding behind the scenes, controlling the comments, desperately plotting to ruin my relationship with Sioyan. But how did she pull this off? Creating these crazy high-tech AR comments. And what about that guy having coffee with Sioyan? What's his connection to her? Did she set that up too? Or was it just a coincidence she took advantage of? But, right now, I still haven't found any hard evidence proving Xiaoyu is behind this. And I haven't figured out how those comments actually work. What if she has other tricks up her sleeve? If I expose her directly now, I'll just spook her. So I decided to keep playing along and stall for time. I sniffled, my voice still choked with emotion, acting like it took everything in me just to speak. Xiaoyu, do you think someone who truly loves you would ever lie to you? A quick flash of satisfaction darted across Xiaoyu's eyes, barely noticeable. But it was quickly replaced by that fake sympathy again. She let out a soft sigh and said in this super earnest tone, well, it depends. Sometimes, just to give their partner peace of mind, people might tell some white lies, coming from a good place. White lies, I sneered internally. A wife lying to her husband while going on a date with another man. How the hell is that a white lie? Xiaoyu's words sounded like comfort on the surface. But she was low-key trying to manipulate me, trying to subtly push me into equating Xiaoyan's behavior with malicious deception, and at the same time, framing herself as this totally understanding, caring person, using that contrast to make me resent Xiaoyan even more. This woman's mind games were seriously next level. Good intentions? I forced my lips up, flashing a smile that looked more painful than crying. My eyes completely dead and disappointed. Boda, don't think like that. Xiaoyu immediately struck while the iron was hot, her tone even softer, with a subtle hint of seduction. No one should be your whole world. Someone who lies to you isn't worth you being this sad over. It's their loss for not appreciating you. You have to believe there are plenty of people out there who truly care about you. For example, she trailed off. But the affection in her eyes was completely unfiltered, so blatant it was practically spilling out. Honestly, the quote itself wasn't bad. But, applying it to my situation, absolutely not. Xiaoyan is my whole world. She's never taken me for granted. She literally values me more than her own life. Trying to use these cheap lines to ruin our relationship. Not in this lifetime. Xiaoyu clearly understood she needed to play the long game. She just needed to gauge how deeply I was doubting Xiaoyan right now. She couldn't rush it, so she just offered some basic comfort, and we chatted a bit about college memories, playing the role of old classmates catching up without being too pushy. Before leaving, she smiled and said, "Let's keep in touch. It's been so long, we should hang out more." I nodded blankly, but as I watched her walk away, the fake confusion in my eyes instantly vanished, leaving only pure ice. Keep in touch? Don't worry, I won't have to wait long. I know she'll be reaching out to me very soon. When I got home that night, Xiaoyan had already made dinner. Seeing me walk in, she immediately rushed over and reached up to feel my forehead. "Hubby, you're not mad about today, right?" I pulled her into a hug, burying my face in the crook of her neck, breathing in her familiar scent. "No, I was just worried about you." Then Xiaoyan started telling me everything about her shopping trip today. She spilled every single detail, hiding absolutely nothing. Turns out, the guy she was having coffee with was named Zhang Yang. He was an old college classmate of hers and Qiang Wise. They'd barely started shopping today when they bumped into him. He was acting super eager, insisting on taking them to Starbucks to hang out and grabbing a coffee, Xiaoyan said after graduating college. Besides her roommates, she basically hadn't talked to anyone else from class. She barely even knew this Zhang Yang guy back then. So his sudden over-the-top friendliness today immediately set off her alarm bells. That's why she quickly texted me from her alt number, explaining the whole situation. And what a coincidence. Right when I got to the cafe, Jiangwei had just stepped away to the restroom. So what I saw through the glass was the perfectly staged scene of Xiaoyan and Zhang Yang having coffee alone. But if I hadn't turned away, and instead stormed into the cafe to confront Xiaoyan, wouldn't the misunderstanding those comments deliberately created be cleared up? No, if I rushed in to confront her, even if we proved they weren't on a date, the confrontation itself would show I didn't trust Xiaoyan. Once the seed of doubt is planted, even if it's suppressed for now, it'll eventually take root and grow, and slowly eat away at our relationship. And I'm afraid that's exactly what Xiaoyu wanted. If I act impulsively, I'll be the one creating the crack. If I hold it in, the comments will keep amplifying my suspicions. No matter which path I choose, she'd find a way in. Xiaoyu, you're truly toxic. Right. I suddenly let go of her, put on a straight face, and asked seriously, is that Zhang Yang guy handsome? Xiaoyan was stunned for a second. Then she realized what was happening, and couldn't help laughing. She reached up and pinched my cheek. Oh my, is our handsome guy jealous? I turned my head away, pretending to be upset. Can't I just ask? Whether he's handsome or not has nothing to do with me. Xiaoyan leaned in, stood on her tiptoes, and kissed my chin. Her tone gentle and serious. No matter what he looks like, he can't even compare to a fraction of my Boda. In my heart, you'll always be the best. The tiny bit of jealousy in my heart instantly vanished, but I purposely kept a straight face. That's more like it. Don't pay attention to him in the future. And don't be curious about him either. You know, when someone starts getting curious about the opposite sex, it's usually the start of falling for them. I know. My little jealous king. Xiaoyan smiled and hugged my waist, pressing her face against my chest. I'll only ever be curious about you in this lifetime. I'll only ever fall for you, okay? I looked down at her soft head, my heart feeling completely warm. But I dragged out the word playfully. Acting all pathetic, I'm still a little jealous. What should we do? Xiaoyan looked up, a mischievous glint in her eyes. She reached up, hooked her arms around my neck, gently pulled me down, and pressed a soft kiss to my lips. Then how does hubby want me to make it up to him? Her kiss tasted faintly of milk tea, soft and sweet. I naturally grabbed her waist and deepened the kiss. The night outside grew darker. The warm light inside the room cast our shadows long against the wall. Kiss me. I hugged her tight, whispering low in her ear, unless you plan on making it up to me properly tonight. Xiaoyan's cheeks instantly flushed crimson. She playfully hit me, but I obediently nodded her head. Okay. Tonight we can be described as a certain fruit. What was it again? Oh right, a Ghana navel orange. 2 days later, Xiaoyu finally reached out to me on her own. Looking at the 2 words she sent, are you busy? I was deep in thought. They say starting a convo with you there means you're a clown? So, how should I respond to, are you busy? Whatever, I'll just play her game. During this time, the comments were still acting up all. When I chatted with Xiaoyan, the comments would endlessly trash her, calling her toxical, blabbering on like a broken record. But now, chatting with Xiaoyu, the comments were unified. The female lead is so pretty and kind. Bro, who runs these comments? You seriously don't understand human psychology well enough. With such obvious favoritism, aren't you afraid of causing reverse psychology? Xiaoyu's conversational tactics were definitely something else. For the first few days, she didn't mention feelings at all. Just talked about random, harmless topics. Classes back in college. The food stalls behind the campus that shut down. Club activities we did together. Every word, every sentence was deliberately building that warm old friends catching up feeling. Occasionally she'd ask, are you feeling any better lately? Just touching on it briefly. Never digging deep. She was waiting for me to voluntarily drop my guard. Waiting for my doubts about Xiaoyan to slowly simmer. Just like that, we casually chatted back and forth for a week. You finally couldn't hold back anymore, and started steering the convo toward relationships. Back in college, I used to always bring Xiaoyan to hang out at our campus, holding hands, hugging, showing off our PDA like nobody else existed. Pretty much everyone in our class knew Xiaoyan, and naturally, Xiaoyu was no exception. That day, she suddenly sent a message. Between you and your wife. Did something go wrong? Here we go. Step 2 of the manipulation finally begins. I feigned confusion and replied, "What made you ask that?" The typing indicator at the top of the chat box stayed there for a long time, flashing on and off, like she was genuinely struggling with whether to say it or not. After a solid 5 minutes, she finally sent a paragraph. Her tone was filled with hesitation and fake concern. I don't know if it's right or wrong for me to tell you this, but I really don't want to see you being kept in the dark. Kept in the dark. I sent back a confused, frowning emoji, playing along with her performance. The next second, a photo popped up. The lighting in the photo was a bit dim, looked like it was secretly taken outside a hotel. In the shot, a man and a woman were walking into the hotel lobby side by side. The man had his arm around the woman's waist, looking super intimate. It was incredibly jarring to see, and the side profile of the woman was unmistakably Xiaoyan. The back of the man looked exactly like Zhang Yang, who I saw at the cafe that day. The photo was super clear, taken from a tricky angle. You could even see the wrinkles in their clothes perfectly. There wasn't a single trace of Photoshop. The person in this photo is your wife, right? CAIU quickly followed up with another message. I passed by Yalongbei Hotel yesterday afternoon and happened to see her walk in with a man. I hesitated for a long time, but still felt like I should tell you. I stared at the photo, my grip tightening slightly. I have to say CIU's methods were seriously impressive. If Xiaoyan hadn't secretly come to my office yesterday to find me, and actually went shopping alone like the plan said, even if I already had my doubts, I'd probably still be a nervous wreck over this photo. That's right, yesterday, Xiaoyan and I were baiting the trap again. She used my old number to text me, saying she wanted to go shopping for some stuff alone today. But in reality, after sending the text, she changed her clothes and quietly drove to my company. We already guessed that CAAU wouldn't just stop at creating misunderstandings. She'd definitely take it a step further. So we purposely set this trap, just waiting for her to take the bait. And the reason I chose to make a move yesterday had a much more important reason. That is, after over a month of non-stop research at the lab, we finally captured the specific energy waves that those comments were producing. And we basically figured out the frequency and characteristics of those energy waves. What I need to do is lure CIAU out and check up close if she is carrying a similar energy source. I need to figure out exactly how these comments are being made. The reason I chose to act yesterday was because after a month of hard work, my lab finally captured the energy waves producing the comments and mastered the characteristics of those waves. I need to lure EIIU over and see if she has something similar on her pile. If we can find the energy source, the best case scenario is extracting or destroying it. If that doesn't work, then physical removal. CIEU, the mastermind behind this, is also part of my backup plan. It's just that I'm still not sure if she has other hidden cards, and I don't know what kind of chain reaction doing that might trigger. So unless it's a last resort, I won't easily take that step. Taking a deep breath, I started faking the complex emotions of a husband who had just been betrayed, shocked but unwilling to believe it. I texted ZAU back. Is this real? Where did you take this? Yalongbei Hotel. Yesterday afternoon around 3. ZAU replied instantly, even adding a sighing emoji. But maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Don't do anything reckless. Investigate it thoroughly before making any decisions. Don't do something you'll regret. Sounds so nice. Acting like she's totally looking out for me. If I'm gonna act, I gotta go all out. I immediately had my assistant go to Yalongbei Hotel to investigate. The results were exactly what I expected. In the hotel's check-in records, Xiaoyan and Zhang Yang's names were actually there. Even on the security footage, you could clearly see Xiaoyan and Zhang Yang checking in together and walking into the elevator. The timeline matched the photo XIAU sent perfectly. Just who exactly is this XIAU to actually be able to forge such flawless check-in records and security footage? What kind of secrets is she hiding? No, I have to figure this out ASAP. What kind of dark magic is she using? I made a decision right then and there. In an apartment complex near the company, I bought 2 adjacent second-hand apartments. I spent a fortune building a replica of the lab. Once the new equipment was installed and calibrated, I disguised IT. Then I invited CIU to meet me at this new lab. On the day of the meetup, I purposely wore a dark suit, my eyes carrying a carefully crafted look of exhaustion. The second I saw CIU, I immediately put on a grateful, yet agonized expression. CIU, thank you so much. If you hadn't told me all this, I'd probably still be in the dark. CIU quickly waved her hands, her eyes practically overflowing with sympathy. Don't say that. We're old classmates. How could I just watch you get treated like this? Then, I went into full venting mode. Using a heavy tone, I talked about how much I trusted CIOyan, how deep our relationship was after all these years, and how seeing all of this suddenly left me so heartbroken and confused. I played the role of the betrayed husband to absolute perfection. CIU sat across from me, listening patiently, occasionally throwing in a word or two to comfort me, saying things like, "She's not worth it," or "You deserve so much better." The affection in her eyes was getting more and more obvious. Towards the end of our chat, she couldn't help but ask, "So, what are you gonna do now?" I sighed, pretending to be conflicted, and lowered my voice. "Right now, I only have the photo and the check-in records. I haven't caught them red-handed. I can't be 100% sure she actually cheated. I want to wait a bit longer. Wait until I get solid proof, and then I'll bring up divorce with her." This was the exact bait I was dangling. I needed a logical reason for SCAU to keep getting closer to me, and to lower her guard, so I could further analyze the energy source on her. As expected, CIU looked totally understanding. She comforted me for a while longer before getting up to leave. What she didn't know was, during our entire conversation, the researchers in the lab next door hadn't relaxed for a single second. Through sensors hidden in the walls, they were capturing all the energy fluctuations in the room in real time, and matching them perfectly with the energy signature of the comments we caught earlier. Analyzing. 6. The moment EAAU disappeared from the complex entrance, I sprinted into the lab like a gust of wind. My heart was pounding out of my chest. Mr. G, besides finding the energy waves, we also decrypted a crucial conversation. Before I could even speak, the lead researcher immediately hit play on the recording. A familiar female voice came through first, sounding impatient and anxious. It was CIU. "System Mo. What's G-Bota's affection level for me right now?" "System?" My pupils instantly shrank. I stopped dead in my tracks. Those 2 words hit like a thunderbolt, making my ears ring. What system? CIU actually had some kind of crazy tech like this behind her. Right after, a completely emotionless, robotic voice chimed in. "Currently, G-Bota's affection level for the host is 0. "How is it 0? CIU's voice spiked, sounding frantic and in total disbelief. "System, are you glitching? I'm this pretty." And I literally handed him solid proof of his wife cheating. How can his affection for me still be 0? The information you provided was all fabricated by me. The robotic voice was still completely flat. "I know it's fake, but G-Bota doesn't know that." CIU's voice was sharp and furious, like a cat getting its tail stepped on. "Has the host considered that perhaps, precisely because you gave him the fake info about Liu Ruyan cheating, it caused his affection for you to drop to 0? The robotic voice added quietly, "Are you saying he's taking his anger out on me? That possibility exists." Ugh, that stupid man. CIU's voice was piercing. I was being nice and tipping him off, and he doesn't even appreciate it. "Host, please note, your actions constitute unethical deception, attempting to ruin the marriage and lives of 2 innocent people. Even if you complete the mission, your final score will be severely penalized." The system's voice actually had a faint trace of justice to it. "I don't care." CIU's tone was unhinged, like she was ready to risk it all. "I already maxed out my points in previous missions. As long as I finish this last one, even without the bonus points, I can still take my $1 billion back to my own world. I'm so sick of grinding through these virtual worlds." Virtual worlds. Back to her own world. $1 billion. This massive info dump left my head spinning. I clenched my fists tight. So, mine and Xiaoyan's lives, in her eyes, are just a mission she can mess with however she wants. Our relationship is just a tool for her to get rich and go home. Since Jiboda's affection for you hasn't increased, why do you insist on targeting him and Lu Ruyan? The system pressed further. Destroying their relationship doesn't fulfill the core objective, because Jiboda is the biggest obstacle in my path to winning over the male-led. Xiaoyu's voice had a sinister edge to it. If I ruin him early, the male lead can rise to the top faster, and I can finally be done with this. How do you plan to ruin Jiboda? The system continued to ask, obviously by staging Lu Ruyan's affair first, and getting them divorced. Then I'll comfort his broken heart. Once he catches feelings for me, I'll use an affection card on him. When his affection hits 80, I'll drop a charm card and make him sign all his assets over to me. Then I'll use his money to help the male lead. Xiaoyu was going totally crazy. Oh, and one more thing. Once I have all of Jiboda's money, I'm gonna kick him to the curb like a dog. Let him rot in the gutters. Then I'll personally tell him the truth about Lu Ruyan's affair, and let him die full of regrets. Host, this behavior is too extreme. The system's voice actually sounded hesitant. Extreme. It's called revenge. Xiaoyu's tone was unapologetic. In college, Jiboda rejected the original host's confession. Since I took over this body, I have to get revenge for her. But, shut up. I'm the host. You have to listen to me. Xiaoyu snapped, cutting it off. Understood, host. But I will report your actions accurately to the main system. The system's voice turned icy. Whatever. Xiaoyu scoffed dismissively. Right now, Jiboda won't divorce her. And finding someone to seduce Lu Ruyan failed. Looks like I have to play hardball. I need to find a way to get Lu Ruyan alone. Drug her or something. And then have Jiboda catch her cheating in bed. There's no way he'll tolerate that. Host, this constitutes malicious assault and severely violates the mission rules. The system's voice finally showed obvious emotion, sounding almost panic. Shut up. As long as I can make them divorce, I don't care what methods I use. I stood there, the blood in my veins basically freezing over. But then, a massive wave of pure rage exploded in my chest, almost burning me alive. Faking evidence, stirring up drama, stealing my money, and now she wants to drug Xiaoyan. Xiaoyu, you've really outdone yourself. You're the one scheming to drain me of everything, yet you twist the narrative, smearing Xiaoyan as the toxic villainess. You're doing all this for your own selfish gain, willing to destroy our lives, while hiding behind the excuse of revenge, acting like your evil is completely justified. But what really gives me chills is that I was never her main target. She just sees me as a stepping stone. Once she's done using me, she wants me to die drowning in regret and despair. No, I can't wait anymore. If I wait any longer, Xiaoyan might actually be in danger. Right now, Xiaoyan can't trust anyone around her. Not even Qiangwei. What happened at the cafe last time? I still don't know if Qiangwei actually had to use the bathroom, or if she was in on it. I pulled a burner phone out of my bag and dialed a number. 7. A few nights later, Xiaoyu, busy doing God knows what, arrived back at her apartment complex. It was getting late. The complex was deserted. As Xiaoyu was walking towards her building, she felt something was off and quickly started running towards the entrance. But it was too late. Someone covered her mouth and blindfolded her, and then shoved her into a van parked in a nearby spot. When Xiaoyu finally opened her eyes again, she found her hands and feet tied up. And the place she was in was the exact same apartment we met at last time. And I was sitting on the sofa across from her, playing on my phone. What's going on? I texted Xiaoyan so many times today, but the comments haven't shown up. Why aren't they showing up? Jiboda. Xiaoyu's voice was shaking. What? What are you doing? I didn't even look at her. What am I doing? I just wanted to ask you a few things. What things? Like, the system. I said it completely casual. Hearing me mention the system, Xiaoyu's face dropped. What system? I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. Then let me educate you. At this point, I was getting impatient. 2 days ago, the lab director told me they could analyze the signals in real time. But now, in my earpiece, I hadn't heard any conversation between CIAU and the system. Did the equipment break? But I quickly realized it wasn't our equipment that was broken. It was because CIAU had lost connection to her system too. Because we could literally hear her screaming with our bare ears. System. The system is gone. Well, that definitely dropped her threat level to 0. After using some off-the-record interrogation methods, I finally got CIAU to spill everything. Turns out, this is a whole transmigration novel setup. CIAU is basically a system host who hops between dimensions. Every time she enters a new mini-world, she has to complete specific missions. And our world was supposed to be her final mission. In this universe, her goal was to seduce the true male lead and help him build a massive business empire. And apparently, on his path to success, I'm his biggest, most annoying rival. So, CIU decided to target me first. She wanted to ruin me completely, just to speed up her mission progress. But her methods were way too toxic. And even her system didn't want to help her. She's never failed a mission before. But she totally hit a brick wall with me and Xiaoyan. Her sick plan to drug Xiaoyan didn't even get off the ground before I caught her red-handed. Right then, a voice suddenly echoed from the earpiece. It was the system host. I have reported your actions to the main system. The main system has responded. Because your actions severely violate the rules, you are going to be penalized. Your mission is now deemed a failure. All your accumulated points have been wiped to 0. You will not receive any rewards. And you will be permanently left in this world to face the consequences. System unbinding initiated. No, no, you can't do this. CIIU screamed like a maniac. But the system totally ignored her. After a 10-second countdown, it announced the unbinding was complete. It mumbled something about compensating the victims. But I didn't really catch it. Watching CIIU completely break down, I felt 0 sympathy for her. After letting her calm down, I asked a few more things I needed to know. CIIU had basically given up completely. She just answered whatever I asked. From her answers, I found out Zhang Yang was just a pawn in her game. The messed up part. That pawn actually did have feelings for Xiaoyan, and he was the one supposed to execute the drugging plan. As for Qianwei at the cafe, that wasn't a coincidence either. CIU had the system rigged that whole situation. Thank God Qianwei didn't actually betray her. Otherwise, I don't know how devastated Xiaoyan would have been. Hey. Finally, I got her to spit out the name of this so-called true male lead. As for what happened to all these people in the end, I honestly couldn't tell you. I just heard there were a few back-to-back car accidents nearby. Haisheng is a massive city with almost 20 million people. A few random car accidents happening is totally normal, right? After I told Xiaoyan the whole crazy truth from start to finish, she finally breathed a huge sigh of relief. She looked at me and said, Boda, even if one day we lost the love between us, I would still absolutely never cheat. I'd ask you for a divorce first, but I would never, ever betray you. After she said that, she proudly lifted her chin, looking at me like a puppy waiting to be praised. But then she quickly realized something was off. She looked up and met my dangerously dark red eyes. My voice dropped low and raspy. Xiaoyan, you actually think we ever lose our love? You're actually out here thinking about divorcing me. No, 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 that's not what I meant. I just meant, what if? It was purely hypothetical, not real at all. I've never thought about divorcing you. We're gonna be in love forever. We'll be together always. Xiaoyan's voice was literally shaking. She knew exactly what was about to happen to her. Huh, what if? I paused looking down at her. Xiaoyan, do you know why regular meat is so cheap, but premium Wagyu beef is insanely expensive? Why? Because the premium ones get pounded all night long. Xiaoyan's legs went totally weak, but she couldn't do a damn thing about it. She could only watch helplessly as I tossed her onto the bed. 1 month later, inside the bathroom, Xiaoyan stared at the 2 pink lines on the test. Happy tears instantly started streaming down her face. Boda, hubby, come quick. If you enjoyed this short drama, please like and subscribe to the channel for more.